Hello beautiful people, hope you all are doing well. Today I thought I would answer some of the most frequent questions I am asked about henna on my channel to offer you guys a little bit more guidance in using this amazing herb for your hair. Check the description box if you want to jump to your specific question, but otherwise let's get into it. So my first question is, how often should I do a henna mask? So this partially depends on why you're doing a henna treatment in the first place. If you're doing it just for the color, you can get away with just dyeing your whole head every 2 to 3 months and then just touching up your roots whenever they grow out. But if you are using henna because you want to build up the strength, softness, and thickness of the hair, I think it's a good idea to start off with one treatment a month and then just kind of see how things go from there. It does kind of differ between each person depending on how you wear your hair most of the time. So for example, if you wear your hair in protective styles most of the time, you can get away with a treatment every 6 weeks. But on the other hand, if you like to wear your hair in a fresh wash and go multiple times a week, you might find that you want to do a treatment every 3 weeks instead. Once you get a little bit more experience with henna, you will sort of be able to figure out when you're due for another treatment, when your hair is starting to tangle a little bit more easily or it's starting to feel a little bit less soft than it used to. But until you get to that point, I think once a month is a great place to start. So my second question is, I heard that it's bad to use oils after a henna treatment as it will remove the henna dye. Is this true? So oiling the hair and then shampooing it out repeatedly is a very common method at trying to remove the henna dye from the hair, and some people get a little bit confused as to why I always recommend following up your henna treatments with a moisturizing deep conditioner that has olive oil mixed in with it, because the logic is that if oil removes henna, applying it right after a treatment really doesn't make any sense. And so I understand the confusion, and there's a few things that I want to say about that. And the first is that while oiling and washing the hair repeatedly is a very common method to removing the henna, it is not very effective, and it can take months of repeated oil applications to see any significant difference in your hair color at all. And even then, people will need some sort of color remover to get it out of the hair completely. Henna is quite permanent, and so I really would not worry about an oil treatment or two from removing the dye from your hair, especially because I have really found oils to be essential at ensuring that you do not experience any dryness or breakage from your henna treatment. Okay. Is it true that I don't need to deep condition my hair after using a henna gloss? So I always recommend it, but I think this depends on a number of things. So for example, if you are mixing your henna with a nice moisturizing deep conditioner and add some cocoa butter or aloe vera to it, you'll probably be okay. But on the other hand, if you are mixing your henna with, say, a banana or yogurt or something, you might find that you still, at the very least, want to use a moisturizing leave-in conditioner afterwards. And it also depends on how strong you're making your glosses. So if you're using a 1/4 cup of henna powder, that's going to be very strong, and I would definitely recommend following up with that moisturizing treatment. But if you're using just a tablespoon or 2, you'll probably be okay without it. Will henna make my hair turn red? So I think I'll probably make a separate video on this question, so I won't go into all of the details about it here, but in the short answer, yes, henna will absolutely give your hair an orange or red stain to it, and depending on your natural hair color, it will be more or less noticeable. So for example, if your hair is naturally blonde or gray, you can absolutely expect your hair to turn bright orange or bright red. But on the other hand, if your hair is dark brown or black, you'll probably only really see the red tint to it in the light. You can play around with the color a little bit, so if you want your hair to stay more of a natural dark brown, you can add things like amla, brahmi, or coffee to your mask, and that will help keep things a little bit more neutral and not quite as like a vibrant red. But the brown color will sort of fade over time a little bit, so you really do want to make sure that you are keeping up with your henna treatments consistently to make sure that the red dye doesn't start to poke through a little bit. And if you want your hair to be jet black, I know a lot of people really like to follow up their henna treatments with an indigo mask, and that will help to cover up your grays as well as to dye your hair black. I have never used indigo myself, but if you go onto Henna Souk's website, they have a lot of guidance on how to use henna and indigo together. So I'll leave their link in the description box if you guys want to go check them out. But if you don't want to change your hair color at all, but you still want to experience the same strengthening and smoothing benefits of henna, you may be interested in trying out cassia instead. I haven't used it yet, but as far as I know, it works very similar to henna in the way that it builds up on the strands and strengthens the hair, but it doesn't color the hair. Alright, so those are the questions that I have time to answer. If you are wondering about how henna affects your curl pattern or how to deal with henna dryness and breakage, make sure to check the description box because I have videos answering both of those questions in great detail. So make sure to check those out. And otherwise, I love you guys and I hope you found this video somewhat helpful. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them down below and I can make another video like this. But otherwise, I hope you all are having a great day and that you're living your best life, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!